People who grew up in third world countries, what was the biggest shock for you when moving into a developed country? At Sang, an African man who was staying with me came rushing in the first week he was staying me and woke me up. He was extremely excited that there was a garbage truck with a motorized arm and was picking up the wheelie bins as it went down the street. Have you seen this? Have you seen this? He kept exclaiming over and over again. Amazing. Amazing. It made me laugh very hard, but he was a lovely guy. Wow. Thank you so much for all the karma. Did not expect this small but sentimental memory to affect so many people. South African here. The thought of a garbage truck with a motorized arm literally blows my mind. There's absolutely no rules here that state where our bins should be placed, which I imagine is the foundation you need before you can have a truck pick them up by itself. This will possibly get buried, but finally in AskReddit I can relate to toilet paper. Toilet paper everywhere. You don't have to bring your own to a public restroom because there's one in every stall here in America and it's free. Restaurant service and food abundance. You asked for a medium well steak but was slightly overcooked. You send it back to the kitchen and you get a new one cooked for you, and the server even apologizes for it. Black people, white people, Asian people, people with natural red hair. In my 15 years living in a small town in Central America, I saw maybe 2 black people, a handful of white people, the one Chinese restaurant owner, and 0 redheads. Now I get to see all kinds of people from all over the world, with different experiences and backgrounds. It's kinda neat. My wife's first time in the U.S. she burst out laughing at how a 4-way stop worked and just couldn't believe people actually followed the rules. Not getting suspicious when a stranger talks to you on the street. I can't get over it. I get anxious every time, but people in Canada don't seem to mind at all. Where I come from, when a stranger approaches you, you nope the duck out. I visited Germany once with my family. We were about to cross the road when a Porsche came racing through. Living in India, we experience daily traffic mishaps and there is negligible concern regarding pedestrian safety and courtesy. So we were actually shocked when the driver literally halted to a stop and insisted on us crossing the road. There was no traffic light, no zebra crossings, nothing, and we actually were used to letting cars pass by before walking, so this was the biggest shock to us. The lights. So many lights, from street lamps, traffic lights, huge buildings lit up all night. Oh, and the highways blew my mind. They were so wide and full of so many cars. I was 6, and I'll never forget that first drive from the airport to my new home in December. It was also my first time seeing snow. The postal system. The logistics of delivering millions of letters to millions of homes on a daily basis is astonishing, especially at that price. The idea that I can send a letter across the country and have it reliably delivered the next or possibly even same day is truly impressive. Edit. Don't bother. 30 people have already made that email joke. You've got so much fresh water, USHT in it. Water? You mean like from the toilet? Yeah. I could see how a developing country, where getting drinkable water takes some effort, boil it, filter it or buy it. It's pretty weird to go to a developed country and find out that people cap in toilets with drinkable water and also shower in it. I grew up in South Africa and have been living in England for 20 years. 1 point, cars stop when you walk up to a pedestrian crossing. 2. Double glazed windows are really good at keeping the warm in and the noise out. 3. I can walk around at night without thinking I'm going to get shot or robbed. 4. There are only a few people on building sites and the buildings get built in a quick and organized manner. 5. When things break, someone will come and fix it. I could go on all day. Giant grocery stores are full of food and always fully stocked. Coming from Ukraine to USA in the 90s, my entire family's jaws dropped for hours. My dad's from Munich and my mom's from Krakow, and the stories about their childhoods are sometimes so different because of that. Like my mom will tell you how oranges were a delicacy that you only had for special occasions, while my dad will be like, oh, when we were bored we used to throw them at each other for fun. My roommate Skywalker is from Guatemala. He says that one of the best things about the US is that when you call for an ambulance, one actually shows up, even if you aren't rich or important. Not me, but I heard about a couple here in Spain who offered their home as a temporary retreat for minors who were about to be sent back to Africa. Can't really remember the details. It is, in fact, a program called Vacations en Paz for Sahrawi kids. Children spend a summer with Spanish families. Thanks to u/Peliswender147, u/Priscillesplanate and u/Neuropsycho for filling me on the details I forgot about. One of the youngest kids took back with him a faucet, believing it would pour water whenever needed. Edit. Faucet equals water tap. Sorry, English is not my native language. Edit 2. Faucet equals faucet. I really thought I screwed up. Thanks for the input, pals. So I knew this guy who used to live in the middle of nowhere in Africa. For unknown reasons his family moved to Montreal, Canada when he was a teenager. I met him in high school. Every day he'd bring a glass of water and sit by the window, and all he would do is watch the glass of water throughout the whole course. Eventually my friends and I started noticing, so we went up to him and asked him about the glass of water and the open window. He looked at us with background eyes and told us, I've heard that if you leave water next to the window and it gets cold enough outside, the water turns into ice. We all had a laugh and every day came for an update on his water cup. Eventually winter did arrive. The teachers let us keep our winter coat in the classroom so that he could leave his glass of water next to the open window. Surely enough, after a little, while ice was starting to appear on top of the water, he was so happy. Just how much of my mind was previously occupied by machinations of keeping my family alive. Like always subconsciously running through the drill of what to do in the event of an armed hijacking or housebreaking, and being super vigilant around people and in various places, no matter the time of day. I felt like at least 10% of my mental capacity has been freed up for other more productive thoughts like appreciating beauty and freedom, planning a prosperous future, and trusting that the sense of security my family and I feel isn't just a ruse. When I was in the Marines I had a friend that was from extreme rural Africa, so we took him to third shows and such. He had been in the US for around 6 months, but even things like TV was an amazing luxury to him. Someone in the group picked up one at a pawn shop off post and gave it to him, and he was just amazed that someone would just give him a TV. Something nifty. He had it set up so direct deposits would go to an account his village had access to. His salary as an E2 in the Navy made his family semi-royalty in the village. My mother's side of my family is from Haiti, and one big thing that came to them as a shock was that they didn't have to overcook meat. In Haiti, people overcook meat basically bone dry due to lack of proper sanitation. So when they came over to us in the US and saw me cooking pork medium rare, they started panicking that I'm going to get food poisoning. I looked at them puzzled. I just said that's how I always eat my pork. They were shocked realizing that, and my mom had to explain them that you can do that here in the US. 1. The fact that there is always electricity. 2. The fact that people don't talk to each other in a public transport system. In my country, you could start a discussion in a public bus, say about a new gov policy, and others will join you. 3. The fact that you cannot openly kill animals during festive seasons like Christmas. In my country, it's usually considered a thing of pride to be able to kill a chicken by slaughtering the throat in the open. People kill goats and cows openly too. 4. The fact that you must pay taxes. 5. The way people love cats. Back in my country, cats are hugely considered devilish and diabolical. They are always said to be witches, and you can hardly see cats anywhere because they are always scared and in hiding. 6. How people try to save big fishes trapped ashore. In my country, it's a day to rejoice and thank God for providing food. 7. The fact that you could live in a place and not know your neighbor for years. In my country, it is very important to know everyone around in case of maybe an emergency, etc. 8. The fact that people wear almost nothing during hot summer days. 9. The fact that people hardly spank their children. 10. How minimum wage here without so much as a high school diploma is a lot more than what GP doctors earn back in my country. Thanks for watching. Did you enjoy this video? Subscribe for more.